Well, good morning, everyone that is online so far. Hopefully you can hear me okay. You are all on mute, but you are welcome to give a thumbs up or a wave via the options up the top to let us know that you can hear us okay. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Blake. That's great. You should also be able to see my screen, so hopefully you can see the PowerPoint there all ready to go. Fantastic. Now, the session is being recorded, so I'll just let you know that so that we can share it with those that weren't able to join us online today via our member newsletter. You'll also get a copy post the event, plus a copy of the slide deck as well, so that you can share with other members of your team. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. With me, I have Chairman of the Board, Stuart Smith, to take us through BYDA's new 5-year strategy, and we're thrilled to be able to share that with you today off the back of 2 years of an amazing effort by the BYDA team since we officially launched on July 1, 2022. Who can believe it's been 2 years already? I certainly can't. But on that note, I will pass you to our chairman, Stuart Smith, to open today's session and to walk you through some of the board's thoughts as we've gone through not only the just past 2 years, but also as we work to evolve into our new 5-year strategy. Over to you, Stuart.
Thank you, Mel, and hopefully everyone can hear me okay as well. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending. I can see that we have over 55, 56 people online now, which is great to see so many people registered, and we appreciate your support and interest in today's session. Today is another important milestone for BYDA and its members. In the next hour, our CEO and I will take you through our achievements against our previous strategic plan from 2022 to 2024, which were the immediate years post the creation of BYDA, our new strategic plan for the coming 5 years, and at the end we'll provide the opportunity for you to ask us questions. But before we get into the detail, let's just start on reflecting about where we have come. As a member organisation, BYDA exists for its members. Your support through the transformation process delivered a nationally consistent single organisation, providing a more cost-effective core service and an enhanced range of services. While the benefits were tangible, it was mostly an internal transformation, setting up the organisation for what BYDA could really be and how we could deliver far greater value to the industry and its members. This would not have been achievable under the old structure. With your help, guidance and direction, we transformed. BYDA's initial strategy post-transformation focused on implementing and stabilising the new organisation. With this successfully achieved, we are now in a place to embark on a new strategy. Our new strategy does not forget our history or our tradition. These services will be maintained and optimised, but what it does is provide the platform for services that deliver greater benefits for our asset owners, the industry workers and the community. It is clear there are still challenges in our industry. Damages continue at a concerning rate, worker harm still happens, and service disruption affects many people. We know that our members are also under financial pressure and public scrutiny. Industry activity is increasing and construction is booming. Service disruption affects many people, and services in the modern world are more essential than ever. Overseas research tells us that the subsequent dollar impact of service disruption is high, perhaps 29 to 1 versus the pure damage cost. Open source data is arriving, digital twin projects, paid digital infrastructure mapping services. The world around us is changing. The BYDA board has been considering these factors and developing a new strategy for BYDA that can deliver on our core purpose. The BYDA board has endorsed the formal change from a historic referral focus to being a leading damage prevention and industry safety partner. Whilst I acknowledge we have done some parts of this, particularly over the last couple of years, there's never been a strategic core of who we are. Now it is. However, Whilst it is easy to develop a strategy, without execution, strategy is useless. And this is where we need your help. Your collective knowledge and experience will be essential to ensuring the execution of our strategy. Our industry forums have already proven successful in shaping our journey, and we look forward to your continued input and support. Collectively, you know more about the detail of what matters in our industry and to our stakeholders than any of the individual board members. So we look to you to partner with us to bring this strategy to life in the best possible way. I now pass to Mel, and Mel will just summarise the achievements from the initial BYDA strategy from 2022 to 2024.
Thanks so much, Stuart. Now, many of you won't be surprised to see some of the stats I'm about to quote over the next couple of slides, but I do want to reflect on the incredible achievements that the work that the broader BYDA team has delivered over the last 2 years. For me, it's been amazing to see what a group of like-minded and passionate team can deliver. You know, they have absolutely stepped above and beyond. So I do want to take this moment to give my thanks to the broader BYDA team around the country for their efforts over the last 2 years to deliver what has been an incredible journey of change. We've delivered significant outcomes under the pillars of growth, industry engagement, education awareness, operational excellence, and advocacy. Under growth, over the last 12 months, we've signed up an additional 50 new members, bringing our total membership to 761 at the 30th of June, 703 of which are utility asset owners and contributing to the conversation of damage prevention. We've brought on 65 new Automate members to our automation subscription service, bringing those members who utilise BYDA for their end-to-end solution for managing the referrals to 206. We've also brought on 53 new subscribers to the newly launched BYDA-owned APA for bulk lodgements, which has been able to deliver a significant cost saving for this particular API into the industry from the previous offerings. And most importantly for members, we've been able to maintain our cost setting at 64 cents per referral, despite 2 years of inflationary pressures, ensuring that we're putting your bottom line front and centre when we're making those decisions around the referral service. Under industry engagement, we've delivered 4 sector forums, which is a first for BYDA. So we delivered both telco, electricity, water and gas, bringing members together for a course of 2 days to debate and discuss what change is needed to ensure that BYDA stays front and centre as a safety partner. We produce white papers off the back of those forums that have been published. Very excitingly, we've been able to produce and launch the damage data dashboard, which, with those participating members, who I give great thanks to for providing their damage data, we're able now to reflect that for the course of 2023, there was over 15,000 strikes across the sectors and across the country. We were able to refine the referral service and launch the collated response viewer. Since its launch in March, we've been able to state that 91% of all referral service users have opted to stay with the collated response viewer versus the traditional email delivery. 50% of those users are regularly utilising the download PDF pack, and an additional 32% are continuing to use the download zip file, showing that our users are engaging in change and are supporting us to continually refine our IT service offerings. In education awareness, we've continued to keep the Don't Dig Blind national radio campaign targeting our key demographic of trades and services. It played over 5,000 times last year, and the metrics report that it met an audience of 16.5 million people across the country promoting safe excavation. We've delivered 440 social media posts to raise the awareness of never digging blind, reaching an audience of over 1 million people. And I'm most proud of our damage prevention team, who have delivered over 700 awareness sessions across the country, including our new plan reading session, to an average of 22 participants per session, reaching an estimated audience of 15,000 people. These are numbers that have never been done before, and I'm incredibly proud of the team that absolutely lent in and supported us deliver these metrics. In advocacy, we are awaiting the response from the Queensland Government on a formal submission as part of the Electricity Review Act. And most recently, we did a formal submission to Build Skills, For those of you that don't know who Build Skills is, they're the National Building and Constructions Trades and Skills Advisory Council that work with ASQA and the Federal Minister to develop and review trade and skills qualifications rolled out through the VET and RTO sectors. We have made a 5-page submission requesting a foundation unit of competency in utility risk management be developed with consultation with you, our members, to be built into every trade and qualification across the construction sector that breaks ground. We believe this is critical to helping drive damage prevention and ensure that we can ensure that workers go home safe each and every day. I'm going to hand back to Stuart to talk about what's next and why, after such fantastic 2 years, we're thinking about change.
So this slide is titled, So Why Change? As I noted in my introduction, damage still occurs. Industry participants are still at risk and community disruption still happens. The pressure on our industry is increasing. Our members face cost pressure and scrutiny. Groundbreaking organisations must ensure the safety of their workforce. Community disruption is publicly reported. Activity is increasing. Industry work skills are sometimes marginal, and uncontrolled digital solutions are appearing. And we would all agree that more can be done to prevent damage, harm, and disruption. BYDA will build upon its core history and become a safety partner for the whole industry. We're working near, above, or underground assets and become a data-driven advocate for change and a setter of standards for safety and education. Importantly, in developing this new strategy, the board considered the current issues and gaps that we face. The board researched and benchmarked similar organisations in North America and the United Kingdom to see what they are doing and where they are adding value to the broader industry and membership. Whilst BYDA outperformed our peers in some areas, there were areas where the overseas organisations had developed strong value-adding services that were making demonstrable change and benefit in the industry towards the prevention of damage, safety, and community disruption. The board also researched case studies of domestic industry bodies in different sectors, not just our own, to learn where they focus in driving positive industry change through advocacy and education and other activities. But most importantly, the board critically reviewed the new strategy against our constitution and can state that the new strategy is fully aligned and better delivers against our core purpose. The research and strategy development work strengthened the board's resolve to implement a new strategy for BYDA, one where BYDA becomes a national voice for damage prevention and safe work near utilities in Australia, beyond the existing referral service. I'll actually now hand you back to Mel, who will take you through the elements of our new 5-year strategy. Over to you, Mel.
Thanks, Stuart. I'm going to take you through a series of slides that talks through, and I would like just to point out that if you have questions along the way, type them into the chat box and we'll address them at the end. So if anything pops to mind as you're seeing the next few slides, pop them in that chat box and we'll make sure that we answer them at the end of the presentation. So our new strategic plan, well, it all starts with a vision. And the board and the team have come together and have rallied behind our new vision statement, that it is to our vision to achieve zero damage to member and utility infrastructure resulting from construction and groundbreaking activities to prevent community disruption, protecting persons and property from harm. So this sits at the top, and this is our vision that we're aiming to achieve over the next 5 years. Our mission statement to deliver on this vision can be broken down as follows. We want to develop and promote education and awareness to increase skills within the industry, developing the standards that can create an uplift in industry capability. We seek to facilitate industry collaboration to identify improvement opportunities and increase efficient standardisation. We wish to report on damage and its impacts, using data as a catalyst for education, awareness and change, to advocate with government and regulatory bodies for nationally consistent best practices, to develop the technologies that increase the ease and efficiency of using utility location information and is adaptable to suit our various user groups. And we want to continue to focus the promotion of BYDA services in order to maximise our impact with industry across Australia. And this has led to our new motto or tagline, which is only a little bit different from what you're familiar with. So we now aspire for zero damage, zero harm, and zero disruption. And this is in recognition that disruption is occurring daily and disrupts those families, communities, and businesses that all rely on our critical infrastructure each and every day across the country. So the strategic plan drives across 5 key pillars, and some of these will look familiar, but there's a renewed focus and a bigger picture starting to come into play around how we're going to deliver on these 5 pillars. So it's Pillar 1, asset information, Pillar 2, advocacy and regulation, Pillar 3, damage impact and investigation, Pillar 4, establishing standards, and Pillar 5, industry leadership. In Pillar 1, we're looking to gain how we can uplift our service and capability in driving the information out to the users and community. So this is a provision of usable and relevant plan information to users and supporting you, our members, to improve the quality of plans and supporting safety information. Most of you on this call will have heard me regularly talk about the need to look beyond the PDF and how do we start to lift into being a leader of GIS and asset information. What is that digital revolution of our current referral service? How do we stay relevant in a world of open source data where we're having potential disruption and competitors come in that digital space? How do we ensure that your needs around safety information stay integral in part of that technology evolution? Pillar 2 is advocacy and regulation. We want to continue to drive and advocate for damage prevention with government regulators and our peer bodies across the country. We need to drive for consistent and effective regulation across the community in all states. Most of you are well aware that New South Wales is the only state that has regulation that mandates the use of the service and appropriate risk mitigation under the Electricity and Gas Acts. So we really want to engage and drive focus on that type of regulation reform across the country. And for our telco members, how do we engage federally under the Federal Telco Act to ensure your assets are a key priority in that safety when it comes to excavation and digging practices? We also know we need to seek to balance the needs of asset owners and the groundbreaker community, as well as the broader social expectation. So this means driving engagement with the key peak bodies across the country, such as CCF, master builders, master plumbers, master electricians, etc., to ensure that we're listening to their needs and what support do they need from us to upskill and ensure that their members are working safely near our critical infrastructure. Pillar 3 is damage impact and investigation. Now, we're thrilled this year that we've been able to launch the damage data dashboard, but we need to continue to grow and evolve the data narrative on that dashboard. We need to be able to leverage that data to create reporting at both a macro and a micro level around the true cost of damage and what initiatives we need to drive those numbers down. We are seeking to play a leading role in sharing learnings from damage investigations. So we want to be able to work with our members and the groundbreaker community to share learnings from when things go wrong. Now, this isn't about creating a culture of blame, but it's about creating a culture of shared learnings so that we can all move forward together to create a safer industry. And this allows us to lift improved work practices, not only within our membership base, but within the broader community. And this again allows us to advance our position as an industry leader, as a safety partner for safe work near utility infrastructure. Pillar 4 is establishing the standards. So we are lifting our gaze to set the standards for asset location and protection. We want to leverage these standards to provide targeted awareness, engagement, and CPD to high-risk workforce that were working near utility infrastructure. We want to work with the vet sector to set the standards for learning outcomes and the content that can be endorsed by our members to set best practice for education. We don't seek to become an RTO, but we seek to support them with endorsed content that we know is going to drive safer outcomes when working near utility infrastructure. Pillar 5 is a culmination of the previous 4 pillars and is around industry leadership. It's around ensuring that we continue to engage with our members and the broader groundbreaking community to drive positive outcomes. We are seeking to deliver a biannual National Damage Prevention Conference, which allows us to bring shared learnings and expertise to the table for broad discussion and debate. We are going to continue our sector-specific forums, and we're already planning to have the electricity forum kick off again in mid-September, and gas is penciled in for October. Water and telco, your dates will be coming very, very soon. We are going to establish project-specific committees to help us deliver on this strategy. As the BYDA team, we know that the expertise sits in a much broader minds than ours, and we need to work with you to drive positive outcomes. So targeted committees will allow us to draw expertise from both the utility sector and the construction sector to really hone in on some of the specific projects that we need to deliver over the next 5 years. And that means also broadening our membership model and seeking to deliver a membership model to engage the construction and trade sector in the conversation. So as a BYDA team, we'll be looking to test some of these models around that broader membership modelling to ensure that they feel part of the conversation, that they feel part of the utility and safe work community, and can ensure that we're meeting their needs for support and service as well. So that's really where our 5 pillars comes to an end. And I'd love to be able to engage and hear your thoughts and answer any questions you may have. So again, please jump into that chat box and type in any questions. Alternatively, if you pop your hand up, I'll work to unmute and engage you in the conversation. I will just stop sharing my screen for now so that I can focus on the chat box and see where we're at. Any questions so far? Give a couple of minutes to type away. You're hoping, so excited that you're frantically trying to ask, which question do I ask first, Mel? I'm not sure. I've got so many. I would like to think that for many of you on the call today, you're probably sitting there going, Mel, you've been working on some of these things forever. We've been talking to the team about, the sector forums, or we've been talking, regularly around refining the referral service. And you're right. We've been building towards this new strategy over the last 2 years, built off the back of a very solid foundation. But it's been absolutely wonderful to be able to work with the board to formalise the approach and to ensure that it is a part of our key focus moving forward rather than an ad hoc reactive approach. And I think that's the difference that the strategy brings to the table, is it's allowing us to work united behind a vision and a purpose that drives the space through. Damien, do you have your hand up there, or are you just left up from before? You there, Damien? I think it may have been up from before.
Perhaps if there's no immediate questions on the strategy that we've run through today, it would be good to at least perhaps get some feedback from the audience on the information that we've provided, whether that's been good information about where BYDA is heading.
Can see there Jason's asked, will we be releasing the 5-year strategy formally? Yes, we will. So post this webinar, we will be sending you out the 2-page strategy summary. This recording will also be shared with the group as well as the slide pack. So all of this information will be shared with you as participants, and then in this week's member newsletter for all of our members, we'll be sharing the same information so that we can engage in conversation and answer any questions. Mark, you should be able to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yeah, we certainly talked a lot about data exchange for quite a few years. Is there actually a path that we're actually seeing to actually do that? Do we have a pathway or a strategy to do that? What's the way forward there?
Yes, Mark. So we are absolutely exploring pathways forward around how to support members move to more more value add GIS data exchange. And we realise that that's a complex area for many of our members. There's complexities with the Security of Critical Infrastructure Act. There's the complexity of the membership base having quite an array of GIS backbones that's being utilised at the moment. So how do we create a harmonised pathway for digital data? So over the next 12 months, one of the key projects that we're looking to deliver is a proof of concept around what a digital version of Plan Exchange could be for commercial users. So I also think it's really important that as we explore the digital arena, that we separate the domestic DIY user from the more sophisticated commercial user who has a very different needs base from us for digital data. So over the next 12 months, we'll be seeking to showcase some options around how a digital exchange platform could be built for the credentialed commercial user and work with the membership base to ensure that it meets your needs in terms of the cybersecurity protocols set by SOCI. So bear with us. Hopefully, sort of later this year, early next year, we'll be able to present some proof of concept ideas and start that engagement process around which is the right pathway for us to select in terms of that digital future, and what do you as members need, and what is the appropriate timeline or horizon for us all to move together. Because one of the challenges around the digital exchange is there's no point 2 or 3 members being able to leap ahead and we leave the rest of the community behind. We need to create a pathway that every member can find their footing in and can work towards over, say, a 5-year program of uplift in terms of GIS capability, creating that safe pathway for cybersecurity, etc. So it's a long journey, but it is one we're absolutely leaning into to find the right way forward.
Okay. I was just wondering whether, all right, okay, and within that you'd have some kind of specification, just noting that data requirements internally to certain organizations and quite organizations across the board are getting more and more complex.
Absolutely. So anything we do in the data space will have a long lead time of engagement, and it'll absolutely allow you to engage in what the process and the protocols need to be. We are absolutely aware of the complexities across the utility sector in terms of the in-house GIS systems, etc., and your data requirements. So nothing we do will be sort of, within a month's time frame, for example. We would be looking to ensure that there is at least a 6 to 12 month lead in of engagement to work through those complexities and what needs to happen to allow members to participate in a digital platform. So it is a long project for that very reason.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the group? Brad, just one moment. If you unmute yourself, you should be able to ask a question.
G'day, Mel. I'm not sure. I had to mute the meeting. So I was with someone just before, but it may have been answered. Where are we currently with the mandate with the state government for Victoria? And basically, where's that currently at? And what's the the plan moving forward with that?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. So working with government is sometimes a long and complex pathway. And I will say that the key to engaging government on regulation reform is data. To be able to demonstrate the size of the problem and the impact of the problem on community is critical to our ability to be able to shift the regulation dial. So as you would know, we've just completed the design and delivery of the damage data dashboard, which I can say for Victoria is showing over 6,000 strikes from those members participating and providing us data. So we know that there is a problem, but we also know that reporting is only the tip of the iceberg. So I would encourage everybody on this screen to have a conversation internally around how you could support us with the provision of damage data. We do have reporting templates available. It's a very simple process. We only look for 7 fields of data, but that damage data is going to be key to demonstrate the size of the problem. We are also in the process of working with an independent economist to create an economic research paper that validates the UK study from 2017 in Birmingham with the 1:29 ratio that gets quoted quite regularly, both here in Australia and internationally. So we're doing some work at the moment to validate, does that number hold true for Australia? And if not, what is the number for the Australian economy and our environment? We're seeking to publish that paper by September. So with the damage data, the economic research, and the support of members, we are then going to refocus our efforts on that mandating process, not only in Victoria, but across the country, to start to drive that consistent regulation reform across the country. Now, I will state that there are some complexities around timing. We have several states going into an election cycle, and federally as well. We have an election cycle coming up, which means we do need to wait for those election cycles to work their way through and see who the incumbents then come post-election. But here in Victoria, we do have an opportunity with some stability. And so again, off the back of the economic research piece, the damage data dashboard, we will be refocusing our efforts and engagement here in Victoria as a starting point later this year. But again, particularly those members here in Victoria, again, I would ask if we can have some access and support with damage data, it will absolutely make a difference. Does that answer your question, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you able to publish that link for the data dashboard and for the documentation to upload the information to the template?
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. I'll flip them through to you post the meeting.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just to reinforce, Brad, what Mel has said, the thing that we have learnt and observed is that data-driven advocacy is really key to getting regulation change. So having that data in the form of the damage dashboard, but also the economic study, proves very powerful in getting regulation changed.
Yeah, no, totally agree with that.
And Adelaide, I can see in the chat you've asked to be able to get access to the links. Absolutely, I'll email those through post the meeting for you as well. And for anybody else, just pop your details in the chat and I'll set up some conversations to talk you through the dashboard. Any last minute questions? As I may pass to Stuart for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Mel. I think just in closing, first of all, thank you firstly for your time today, but more importantly, thank you for your long-term support for BYDA over the last couple of years as we've implemented the first 2 years of our strategy. And we look forward for your engagement and your participation as we start to bring the next 5-year strategy to life. It won't happen in isolation with just us. We're a member-driven organisation and we need to work with our membership in the execution of this strategy. So we very much look forward to working with you on that. But for today, thank you very much. I do hope that today's session has given you a clearer view about what's changing and where we're heading. There's obviously a lot more detail that will come out as we start to work into the actual plans for the delivery of the strategy. But for now, this should give you an overall view of where the BYDA board and the BYDA organisation is heading. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Stuart. Again, it's always a pleasure to engage and work with our membership base. And if any of you would like to set up a meeting for a private conversation around the direction or how you can lean in and engage and participate in some of the projects as they come to life, please reach out. I'm always happy to take a call or answer an email. So please do take the opportunity to participate. As Stuart said, we can't deliver this in isolation. It's a complex industry and the challenges at times, are multifaceted, and it will take all of us working together to drive meaningful and impactful change that really does deliver on zero damage, zero harm, zero disruption. And so thank you for being here today, and I look forward to talking with you all in the very near future. And I'll see you all soon.